Hello and welcome to episode 88 of the She Must Knit podcast. My name is Erin and thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. I hope you guys had a great week. We've had a really nice week. There's been some days where I have felt more productive than others, but overall I think it's been a really good week. I've started Vlogmas this week, so there's been lots of extra little clips and videos that I've been taking and putting them together. I think I have the part 1 up now if that's something you're interested in viewing. But yeah, I got my clubs out, I've been working on projects, I've been working on gifts. Overall, it's been a really pleasant week. So, what do I have to share with you today? I have a finished object, and then I have progress on some of the projects you've seen, and then I have a new cast on. I also have my updates, so my goals for November, what did I complete, and then what are my goals for December, and spoiler, my goals for December, looking at them, are pretty lofty. They're all things that I really want to get done, but when I look at them, it's a lot of stuff. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it, but we will see. And then I also have the winner for November. So I think we are going to get started with that first off, and then we will go into the knitting. So if you are a new viewer, every month I take the comments made on any of my videos, and each of those comments equals an entry towards a $20 coupon to my shop. Any items purchased in my shop also go towards an entry. So this month, or for November, I drew from all the entries, and the winner was Burn T. Thank you so much, Burn. I know you comment, I know you watch pretty much every video and you comment on most of them. So thank you so much. I know you know how to contact me, and I will get you set up with your coupon. So we are going to get right into the knitting, and as always, I think it's become a habit. I like to start with my DVD socks because it's something I'm working on pretty much every month, and this year's challenge is coming to a close. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, November I thought I was going to be done. I thought I wasn't going to make it, and that would be the end of the challenge for me this year. But somehow I managed to scrape things together and finish my socks. So that's the finished object that I have for you today. I finished my November Desert Vista Dye Works socks. So these are in the color Brisbane. I am knitting these, or I have knit these for Avery's teacher for Christmas, so these are done. I just did my normal kind of vanilla sock. I did 81 stitches cast on. I did a nice long cuff. I believe I mentioned before that I tried decreasing 5 stitches after the ribbing so that the leg was slightly smaller, so that by the time I finished the heel I didn't have as many stitches to decrease, because usually I go down to about 70 stitches for the foot. So I did the triangular shape heel that I like to do. I did it in reverse stockinette. You can kind of see the garter texture there. And I also did the thing I like to do where for the second sock I rewind the cake so that the stripes are going in the opposite direction. So you might be able to see that when you look at them close up, but I really like how if you don't know that I did that, they still look like a pair. It's just something fun that I like to do, and also I don't have to worry about matching the stripes because they're just not going to match. So it's just something fun that I like to do. So I did finish these. So the 30th of November was a Saturday, and I think when I showed them to you, I think I recorded on a Saturday, and I was saying that I wasn't sure. I was going to have to knit on them all day in order to finish them. And I was on the second sock, and I might have been, I think, working through the heel maybe. I think I was working through the heel. So after I recorded, I had some stuff around the house to do. I had some cleaning to do, and then I was all set. I was going to plant myself on the couch and just knit. And then I got a text from our friend saying, "Hey, are we still on for today?" And I was like, oh, right. They're coming over. We had friends coming over. So my first thought after that was just like, how am I going to finish my socks when we have friends coming over? Like, these are the type of friends that we just kind of, they come over or we go over to their house and we just kind of hang out. It's very chill. They were coming over because Avery's birthday That was Avery's birthday was coming up that Monday. Her birthday party is this coming weekend, but they weren't going to be able to come for that, and so they wanted to come the weekend before. So they came over, and I was worried. I was already worried about finishing my socks on time, and then with the added pressure of finishing them while we had friends over and we were going to be, you know, having dinner and doing stuff, I couldn't just hold myself away in a corner and knit. I was a little concerned. So they're also the type of friends that they know I knit, and so that was not a problem. So I did knit while they were here, and if you're a knitter, you know you can carry on conversations, you can interact and stuff while you are still going. Her husband even commented, he's like, how do your fingers do that? Like, you're not even looking. But anyway, so I think by the time we were kind of chilling out in the evening, I was working through the heel. I remember working through the heel decreases and getting to where I was working in the round again. And then after they left, I think they left around 9 o'clock or so, I was working down the foot, but I was still a little bit worried. Now, I know Susan does the competition by midnight Arizona time, which is not the same as midnight our time. I think I have yet to do the calculation because I've never needed to, but I think it ends up being that I have like technically an extra hour or so, but I really wanted to get them done before midnight my time just so that I knew for sure that they were done on time. And I finished them. Dennis even put Avery to bed, so that was really nice. I didn't have to worry about that taking time away. I think 11:45 is when I was Kitchenering the toe, and I had just enough time to Kitchener the toe, take pictures of the socks, get them uploaded into the Ravelry group, post them on Instagram, do all the kind of admin stuff that you need to do to kind of be counted in the competition. 11:45 is when I got that done. So I think to date, that is the latest I have finished a pair of socks, which is kind of amusing considering November I thought for sure I would have no problem finishing well before the deadline. So that kind of brings us to December socks. I went into December not having any idea of what color I was going to choose. I just kind of figured I would choose one of the colors that I really liked for myself since all my gift knitting was done for the year. And then Steph from Adornette suggested, she knew that she had ordered the colorway Stranger Things a while ago, and then she saw that I had posted recently to one of the colors I recently ordered, and she suggested that we do a little knit along with that colorway. And since I had no plans going in, I thought, hey, why not? So that's what I've done. I've cast on with Stranger Things, and this actually works out really well because I picked out this colorway. I'll show you it all caked up here. So I picked out Stranger Things for one of my brother's gift socks for next year. Not that they watch Stranger Things, but I thought this was just a really good kind of like guy type colorway. So I had picked this out for him, and I wasn't planning on getting to this until sometime next year. But by doing these this month, not only do I have a gift pair for next year that will already be done, but my brother likes way shorter socks than I like. I like my socks to be fairly long, so I always do a really long leg. He doesn't mind a shorter leg, so considering how much trouble I've had the last 2 months completing my monthly socks, for this to be the last pair for the year, the fact that I can make the legs a little bit shorter than I normally would, I think will help me greatly. So I cast these on. I finally cast these on, I think a day or two ago. I didn't even get them started on the 1st. And I've got the cuff done. So when I do socks for my brothers or for Dennis, I cast on 72 stitches. I still do my 2x1 rib because I just really like how that looks. And yeah, I think I'm pretty much done the cuff. I think my plan is to just knit through the rest of this light gray and then start getting into the stockinette. I am just going to be doing a plain stockinette leg. I don't know what it is about my brother's foot shape, but it doesn't seem to matter what kind of heel I knit for him, they always fit him well. So I am going to do a German short row heel because that's just a really fast, easy heel for me, and then a stockinette foot. So these should be, in all theories, a quick pair of socks for me. I should be able to finish these by the end of the month. Hopefully there will be no hiccups, but I'm really hoping to finish these well before the last day. So it would, November was just way too stressful. It was way too stressful. I don't want to do that again. So I'm hoping that all things considered, with all the things that I can do, make these shorter, blah, 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 smaller stitch count even, that these will be a quicker, easier finish for me. And I do plan on doing the thing with these as well, where after I finish the first sock, I rewind the cake so that the stripes are going in the opposite direction. So this is how much I have so far. Where are you, Steph? How are your socks going? We'll have to see. I know we're usually kind of on par with our socks, so that will be interesting and fun to see how those go this month. So I think the next project I'm going to share with you is one that you've already seen, but I have made some pretty decent progress on it, and that is my pair of micro stripe socks. So earlier this year I made another pair of these socks where I took a sock blank from my stash and I paired it with a semi-tonal yarn, and I did micro stripes. So I used the helical knitting technique to do just one row stripes between the two colors, and I just love the effect of the sock blank mixed with the kind of semi-solid yarn. So last time I showed these to you, I was somewhere in the leg up here. So I don't know, I don't think I was down here. I might have been just around here. That's how much I had gotten done. I continued on the leg. I've added my German short row heel. This is the heel that I prefer to do when I do this type of sock, just because it doesn't disrupt the micro striping. So I've put in my German short row heel, and I am now working down the foot of the sock. So when I do work on these, they are super, super quick because they are just, it's so much fun to see the stripes develop. And I really like the striping that is happening with these socks, because the sock blank that I'm using is not your typical sock blank that is in kind of a big one, kind of a wide piece of knitted fabric. It is in these little strips. So this is the yarn here. This is something that I picked up during one of the yarn crawls that I've been on in the last 2 years. And instead of being a wider piece, it's kind of in this little tube that you then unravel from. And because of that, the stripes are more, like the stripe sections are much more even. With a sock blank, sometimes, depending on how the colors are dispersed, you can get a very kind of a sporadic placement of color. This is very, very even. The stripes are very predictable. And I just really like how these colors are contrasting with this really pretty teal sparkle yarn. The solid that I'm using is one that I received in, it was like a Muskoka yarn box subscription. I think it's Northern Bay Fibers or something like that. And it is just a superwash merino with Lurex, which is giving you that really pretty sparkle. And I am just really, really happy with how those are turning out. Now, a couple of people mentioned the first time I showed these socks, mentioned how they hadn't seen a sock blank in this format before. And I have seen it from 1 or 2 companies, but it's not very common. But I wanted to say, I recently did an order with Knit Picks, and I actually unboxed the order during one of the little clips that I've done for Vlogmas, so you will see that coming up. But I ordered one of these new Hawthorne sock color reels, and it's basically the same thing. If you look at it, it's just this little tube of fabric that you then unravel, and they've got them in these sections of color. So you can see there's a pretty big section here of that mint, and then it goes into kind of like this chartreuse, and there's little bits of black and grays and stuff like that. This is in the colorway Citron Stripe, and I did just check the website this morning. All the colors that they have available are still in stock. Some of them are lower stock than others, but they have all the colorways, and I believe they are still on sale. So if this is something you wanted to try, like this format of a sock blank or this type of project, Knit Picks has something that is very similar to what I am using. I have no plans for this. I got sucked into the novelty, and I thought the color was pretty pretty. So this is going to be going into my stash for next year. Maybe I'll make another pair of microstripe socks or something like that with them. But that's how that project has been going, and I have really been enjoying that. So next, I think I will go into my new cast on, and then I might briefly touch on, there's been a couple of projects that I've worked on this week, but like just very, very minimally, so I didn't want to bring them all over here and show them to you for maybe 1 or 2 rows worth of work. So I might touch on that just so you know what I've been working on. But the next project I'm going to talk about is the new one that I cast on. So I have talked about this project in previous episodes. You know that this is a plan that I had, and that is this one here, which is called the Color Block Hoodie. And this is a pattern that is in the 60 Quick Knits for Kids, which I've actually gotten quite a good amount of use out of. I think I told you in the last episode or the one before that that the yarn that I ordered for it finally did arrive, and I finally did get a chance to cast this on. I wanted to cast it on last week, but just the pressure of trying to get those November socks done, I had no time for any other project. I had to dedicate everything to those socks. So I did get this cast on this week. I haven't made it very far, but that's okay. I think once I get going on it, it will be a pretty fast project. And yeah, this is what I have started so far. I've actually had a few false starts with this. I mean, it's a very easy pattern. You basically just cast on the amount of stitches, and then it's just stockinette up into the where you start shaping for the arms. But because I am using this chenille, the pattern calls for you to start with a rib, and when I did it with the rib, you couldn't see the rib. I didn't really like the rib, and so I ripped that out and I tried it just doing garter stitch, and I didn't really like how that looked either. So I've ripped it out again and I've restarted, and I am just doing stockinette. So normally if I was using like your standard like superwash wool yarn or something like that, if I just did stockinette, like cast on and went right into stockinette, you would get kind of a rolled edge. Because this is a chenille yarn, it's not really doing that, so it's still laying pretty flat, and I think it's overall going to give me the look that I want. I want it to just kind of be like an oversized, very relaxed looking hoodie, and I think that unfinished edge will kind of go along with that whole look. So for the main body, I am using this color here. I think this is called Cherry. Yes, so this is Cherry. The yarn is the Premier Yarns Parfait, and it's a little thinner. Like, they label it as a bulky. I thought it would knit up a little bit thicker. Like, to me it looks, I guess it is thicker than a worsted, but it's like when you really feel the core, it doesn't seem like it's going to be that thick. I will say, compared to the chenille yarn that I worked on, the Bernat blanket yarn, for the blanket that I made for Avery, I didn't find that one shed at all. Like, the little chenille tufts didn't really come off of the yarn at all while I was working with it, and I am finding that this is doing that a little bit. So I hope once it's all knit up and it gets washed and worn, it's not going to continue to shed, but we will see. So that is what I have started. That is supposed to be one of Avery's Christmas presents, so hopefully as other projects get done, I will be able to just spend more time on that and get it done. It is a thicker yarn. It should knit up fairly quickly, but we will see. I have a lot on my plate this month. I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of stuff. I have grand ambitions, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do them all, but I am just going to do what I can and not worry about the things that I don't get to. So before I get to my goals update, I thought I would let you know some other things that I worked on. I did put a little tiny bit of work into my Cumulus blouse. I brought it with me when, I think I mentioned a while ago how my mom and Avery and my brother went up to the Guelph area one Saturday for a little visit and a little day trip. I did bring that in the car with me and I worked on it, so I got a couple of rows done, but nothing significant. I did work on my cross stitch project this week, but I only got a couple of rows in from the pattern, so that wasn't anything that you wouldn't notice a difference if I showed it to you. Hopefully next episode I will have more progress on that. And I think I worked on something else. Oh, I've been working on my Advent projects. I'm going to be showing those throughout the Vlogmas videos, but I've started putting my Advent minis into my granny stripe blanket, and I've started adding in the extras from those minis, whatever's left after I do a stripe. I have been putting those into those Advent socks. I showed you the cuff last week, but again, it's nothing very significant. I think I've only put about 3 colors into the socks, and there's actually just the perfect amount of yarn left after doing a stripe. There's just a little bit of yarn left, so I just get like maybe 5 rows of each color into the socks. So I'll be showing those in Vlogmas, but also hopefully next week I'll have enough progress on both of those projects that I can show you in the podcast next week. So those are the other things that I have been working on, and I think now we are going to get into my goals update. So I am going to shift over a little bit so that I can put up a picture of the items that I finished in November as I talk about what my goals were, and then we'll also talk about what my goals are for December. Okay, so the first goal in November that I had was to finish my November Desert Vista Dyework socks. And I did finish those, even if it was just barely, I did finish those. Next, I wanted to finish my last pair of socks for Dennis for Christmas, and I did finish those. Next was to start the Linger Here test knit and perhaps get the body done. I did not get the body done, but I did start it. I have cast it on, and the next step is just getting into that cabled pattern. I had to find a cable needle because the stitches are over quite a large amount. Usually I cable without one, but I did find one today, so hopefully I'll be able to get started on the cabling in the body. The next was to work on the Cumulus blouse. Technically, I did complete this goal because, like I said, I did bring this with us on our day trip, and I did work on it. And I think another time I worked on it and put another few rows in. So not very much, but I did work on it. Next was to start my cross-stitch project. I did that. Next was to cast on Avery's sweater. I was really hoping to do that within the month of November. It just didn't happen, but that's okay. It's cast on now. We're good. It started. And then finally, my goal was to complete 2 more sections in the exploration station shawl that I started. I have not completed those 2 sections, so I did not complete that goal, but hopefully I'll be able to finish it by the end of the year. We will see. And then some bonus finished objects. I finished all the dishcloths that I want to have for gifts over the holidays. So now for my goals for December, and as I mentioned earlier, looking at this list, it's a big list. There's a lot of finishing involved. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to finish these, but that's fine. That's what goals are. It's just added motivation, and we'll just have to see what happens. So the first one is to finish my December Desert Vista Dyework socks. That has to happen. I cannot drop out of the competition during the last month. That just can't happen. So that goal has to be finished. Next is to finish 1 other pair of socks. So as I just showed you, I have those microstripe socks on the go, as well as my Advent socks that I'm working on this month. I would just like to finish 1 of those 2 pairs. Next is to finish Avery's sweater. Obviously, I would like to finish this. It's for her Christmas present. She's covered. She's covered for Christmas. If I don't finish it, it's not the end of the world. But it should be a quick project, so I really would like to finish it. Next is to finish the cross stitch. I think if I put a little bit of work in it every week, it shouldn't be too bad. It's a very easy pattern. It's not overly complicated. I think I should be able to finish that. Finish the body of the Linger Here sweater. This one I'm not sure about. I really want to be able to do this because, like I said, I am doing it as a test knit for Stephanie. So I really would like to get the body done, but we will see. And then my final goal is to finish the exploration station. One of the goals on my bingo card is to make a large circular shawl. This would complete that goal. It would really be nice to knock off another square on my bingo. We're getting to the point where, like, it's the last square. So whatever I'm going to be able to finish from my bingo card has to happen this month, and I really would like to finish off that square. Just as a little crafty bingo update, I have officially put up the thread in the Ravelry group for signing up for the 2020 Crafty Bingo Challenge. If this is something that interests you, it's a very easy challenge to participate in. It's very self-driven. Just go to the thread, say you want to participate, I'll make a card for you, and you fill it up with the goals that you want to do. You can take a big goal and break it into like 5 little parts, over 5 squares if you want. You can be really ambitious if you want to. I would have a look through some of the other participants' bingo cards just to get ideas for possible goals, but the thread that I put up is for signups and planning, so it's also kind of a chat thread for just throwing some ideas out there, especially if you're new to the challenge. People who have been participating for a couple years now, everybody most people who participate one year will come back the next. They say it's very motivating. They really enjoy it. And like I said, you choose how complicated or how simple you want your goals to be. For me, next year, usually I'm pretty ambitious with my goals. Next year, I've really pared down my bingo card just because I don't know how much knitting time I'm going to have. And I'm actually planning on, I think next week, I might do a bingo update to talk about where I am with my bingo card at this point for this year, and then also start talking about what the goals I want to accomplish over next year will be. I think I have 2 empty squares left that I still have to fill up, but I think I might do that next week. We'll do a bingo update. So I think that is all I have to say for this week. That's all I have to talk about. I'm hoping, I think I still have about an hour or so before Avery comes home, so I really want to kind of go cuddle up on the couch and add a little bit into my Advent project. I'm still trying to catch up to today's minis. I'm still a little bit behind, so I really want to get caught up, so I think that's what I'm going to do. So I hope you have a lovely, lovely weekend filled with lots of crafting, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.